A donor would like to see from a fund utilization report that the funds are effectively utilized as per the project proposal. It is certainly the responsibility of the project officer, the specialist, and the program assistant to enter the requisitions correctly in prompts. Otherwise, the donor feels that the funds are not effectively utilized. It is very important for the people who are dealing with program funds to familiarize themselves with the project proposal. There are certain do's and don'ts that we follow when we do financial monitoring of the donor funds. I would like to take you through some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to donor reporting. The fund expenditure has to be clearly linked to the project proposal, the outcomes and the outputs. It's important to quote the outcome number in the requisition. The funds need to be allocated according to the components of the proposal. Some of the don'ts that we would like to highlight here are: the donor funds should not be used for any kind of asset creation, example procurement of vehicles. For internal meetings, office meetings, staff meetings, retreats, please use RR funds and not donor funds. We cannot divert donor funds to sectors which are not related to project proposal. Whenever there is a doubt, please consult the resource mobilization section. I have some examples taken from the fund utilization reports of various program sectors. If you see, it says release of advance towards supporting the RCH implementation. When a donor sees this kind of requisition made, what does the donor understand from this? RCH implementation is the whole program proposal based on. Therefore, the donor needs to understand which outcome does this particular DCT or a cash transfer relate to. Therefore, we can reword it by saying the direct cash transfer DCT, the partner's name, and then stating the outcome, which is build capacity of frontline workers on IMNCI. And then it is very important to state the outcome number here, which is the same as in the project proposal. Another example of a PGM is split AC voltage stabilizer and stand for call center. Now, any donor looking at this will not know what is this meant for. We can reword it by saying these are the equipments to set up an SNCU. The place should be mentioned and certainly the outcome number, so that the donor knows that the funds used in supplies are effectively contributing to setting up a good SNCU. There are a couple more examples that I want to share here. If you see Coverage Evaluation Survey 2009, now that doesn't say whether it is an institutional contract, an individual contract, or what. Therefore, it's important that we say this is an SSA, the purpose of the activity, and then the outcome number. We have another example of travel, which says to review the Regional Training Institute. It doesn't mention anything related to the project proposal. The donor needs to know the travel was meant for what. Therefore, we can reword it by saying travel. Then we review, the Regional Training Institute, the purpose for it, where's the place, and the outcome number. Now, this particular example of travel is very common across all FURs that we have witnessed so far. To drive Mr. XYZ to so-and-so place. This is particularly of drivers, we understand that, but the donor needs to understand that the driver also accompanied somebody to the field and that person is doing field monitoring, which is certainly part of the project proposal. Therefore, we can reword it by saying the travel, accompany Mr. So-and-so to the place, and the purpose was field monitoring of a particular program which contributes to outcome number so-and-so.